the moment you stop chasing, it finds you. I don't know if I can do this, but I'll try. I think in life we're taught from quite a young age to have a kind of set plan for our life. There's obviously going to school, there's for a lot of people going to maybe college, maybe university, getting your first job, and then come the kind of career progression type steps, maybe working in the same job and progressing at a higher level, maybe changing jobs to increase your salary or to change direction slightly, or just to use the skills that you've built up to apply them in a different environment. So in a way, we're kind of taught to chase a certain direction in life, a certain path, and to view these progressions at work as a significant step in our life, which often they are. But quite often there comes a point when we feel like we're chasing. Maybe, I know for me personally, I felt like I was chasing promotions, chasing the next step, chasing the next job, the next pay increase. And it came to a point that had just lost its meaning for me. And I felt like it was a structure within which I'd been taught to function, and taught, my mind had been trained to function within these limitations of work, jobs, promotions, pay increases, and to measure my success and my progress as a person by work. And you could apply this to other areas too. It might not be work, it could be another pursuit that you do for yourself where maybe you don't feel like you've entirely chosen the way by which you measure your success or the way you measure your progress in life. So I came to a point for me that I decided to stop chasing. I decided just to draw a line in the sand, and I actually quit my permanent job, which I'd always worked in permanent jobs for a very long time, all my career. And I decided, you know what, I'm just going to stop. And there's no plan, no direction, no structure. I'm just going to see what happens next. That is very frightening, and it was hard. I had to plan in order just to save some money, for example, to tide me over for a while. But once the time came, once had made the decision, I was 100% sure that was what I was going to do, and it felt right. So there is an intuition. Certainly, I work with my intuition a lot, and I think everybody has this deep knowing, this deep intuition, which we are not really trained to rely on. We're trained to rely on things which are more reliable, such as a permanent job, a reliable job, a structure within which we can orientate ourselves. But what would happen if you just quit and just let that go and decided to see what would happen next? If you stopped repeating the same cycle, the same type of behavior. And like I said, it is a very scary thing to do. But what can happen is that I think for me personally, I felt like I got back in touch in a much better way, a much stronger way with actually my own desires, not what I was being told to want, but actually on a deep level, what is it that I want from life? And not to try and plan that out again, because it's very hard to plan something which isn't the same as what you've already experienced. It's very hard to plan something which is completely new. But what we can do is create a space, create a pause in life where maybe we can just observe and watch what is coming to us, what opportunities come, what people come into our life, what's new. If we take a break, what do we find ourselves doing with our time? What is it we want to do? And it can just be great just to have a break and just see, what do I want? What direction do I want my life to take? If I stop chasing, if I stop trying to pursue all the things I'm told that I want in life, what actually do I pursue just out of my own interest, just from my own desires? So it is challenging. It is difficult. Might take some planning. It might take a lot of courage. It might take calming a lot of anxiety. But it is something I can highly recommend, just to take a break, just to make a big change, create a space in life where you just have maybe a few months just to do things differently and see what comes into your life that you didn't expect, that you couldn't have planned.